turn on your notification bell. You will still get those information you are looking for.
Shettima fingered in high-profile assassinations in Borno State. That's report. That is according to a report. Yes, that a Boko Haram suspect has fingered Kashim Shettima, the vice presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress (APC) in the forthcoming 2023 elections. Yes, that is still hanging in the balance. Now, the report states, the report is an opinion piece by Bolaji Mustafa, yes, titled, "The Dirty Side of Kashim Shettima, the APC vice presidential candidate." Of course, the report revealed a lot of things about Kashim Shettima and what he did, talking about his involvement in those assassinations. I have to quote Bolaji Mustafa. Yes, I have to quote him now. I quote now, referring with disdain and contempt to Wazirin Adama Atiku Abubakar and Labour Party candidate Peter Obi last week at a wishy-washy event in Lagos, Kashim Shettima, the notorious APC vice presidential candidate, tried to sell his equally dubious presidential candidate, a man who could not build a single hospital in Lagos, as a man with experience and track record. But those who were clapping for him did not appear to understand the desperate attempt by a terrorist sponsor and the extremists of hate, violence and cruelty to distance himself not just from his past, but from his true person. In January 2011, just 1 week to the deadline for submission of candidates' names to INEC for the coming elections, then the governorship candidates of the ANPP, Fanami Gobio, and 7 others were shot dead in front of his father's house in Maiduguri, and the ANPP was forced to present Kashim Shettima as candidate. It was first thought to be a terrorist attack, but soon it became clear that it was a well-calculated political murder. To erase all doubts, a Boko Haram suspect held in detention named as Mustafa Kolo was reported to have said emphatically that Kashim Shettima was a prime sponsor of political murders, and went on to mention some of those they killed for him, including Anwana Ngala and Fanami Gubio, the Borno State ANPP chairman and gubernatorial candidates, respectively. It is instructive that Shettima's lead presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu, apart from a U.S. certified court sanction for heroin smuggling activity, also shares his bloody record. In similar circumstances to the murders perpetrated by Shettima on July 27, 2006, Anthony Funsho Williams, a fearless and very popular PDP politician from Lagos State, who was said to give the willing AD a tough challenge for the Lagos governorship, was found strangled to death in his Ikoyi home. However, the worst atrocity in Shettima's heinous history was to come in 2014. On March 12 of that year, the Minister of State for Education, citing security reports, advised Shettima as governor to close down all remotely located schools in Borno. Not only did Shettima ignore this advice, but as if acting on cue, barely a month later, on April 14, the girls' secondary school, Chibok, was attacked by heavily armed terrorists who took away into the dark night over 276 young girls who had sought to educate and improve themselves in a state where education of the child was elevated to global priority. Against all protocol, the governor Shettima failed to inform the president immediately by phone of this disaster and went on to employ so many other delay tactics of non-cooperation with the federal authorities. This ensured that the abductors had a free rein and smooth getaway, and that these young girls were successfully held as sex slaves and forcefully converted to their religion, while many who refused to cooperate were outrightly slaughtered or seriously maimed, their future destroyed forever. On 30th May 2014, a civilian militia discovered 2 of the kidnapped girls raped, half dead and tied to a tree in the Bale area. According to villagers, Boko Haram abandoned the 2 girls killed and buried 4 other disobedient girls. Later in the year, 4 more girls escaped after working for 3 weeks. They claimed they were raped every day in a camp in Cameroon. In addition to this, and to underline his sponsorship of this deadly tragedy. The principal of the Chibok school, who was then under investigation for complicity, was immediately appointed a commissioner in Shettima's cabinet, an insult to the grieving parents, many of whom will never ever see their children again. It is instructive to underline that Shettima has never till this day faced criminal indictment and prosecution for his role in this crime of untold proportion. It is unfortunate and totally regrettable that these two accursed criminals of shady and slimy background are the best that could be presented by a political party as presidential candidates in a country that still has men and women of decency, competence, and integrity. People like Shettima represent the most dangerous, the most deceptive, and the most chameleonic terrorists of our time who deserve their fate. Upon trial and conviction should face execution by firing squad for the same heartless and wicked death he ordered and paid for that denied the families of Ngala, Gobio, and the Chibok girls. It is even more of an insult when a devilish character of such ignominious putrid could assemble any audience to present himself in any iota of decency, and worse still, to publicly seek to defame the public service record of others who in service to their people increase their human index potential, placing them as champions of education, industry, and business all over the world, including in the same Maiduguri, where this heartless murderer rose to power by directly killing his people and indirectly supporting terrorism. Man may be deceived for a while, but the sordid deeds of Guta's wine shall come to haunt them when they least expect. This time, the people of Nigeria have drawn the line against bloodthirsty terrorists, drug-pushing criminals, and desperate killers disguising as populist politicians encouraged by their stolen wealth. The leadership of Nigeria will never be available to such villainous degenerates, highly reprehensible, offensive in character, nature, and conduct, men of corruption and dishonor. These people must be placed in the past, where they have contributed to national failure, or in the prisons, where their devilish acts have booked them lodging. Never again in the seat of government, because the people have this time risen to identify and totally reject them, no matter what fascinated their audiences. They try to sell their rotten and blood-stained images. End of quote. Now, this is what this person said. And this man is not far from the reality and the truth. This is typically what happened. Yes, and he said all the APC could have done or could do is to present these people, these notorious people. One is a drug baron. Yes, a drug lord. Okay? The other one is someone who has been known as a sponsor of terrorists, has been sponsoring terrorists and terrorism. Yes, Nigerians have seen it. And so the APC can only bring these two men to run for office of the vice president and vice president respectively. It has shown that the party, what the party is known for, and how they won the elections in 2015 and 2019. Yes. And so the election we're talking about is still hanging in the balance. But these people are saying, Nigerians, shine your eyes. Shine your eyes.